Will Smith is finally back doing interviews since his infamous Oscar slap several months ago. Now promoting his latest film, Emancipation, Smith appeared on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, where he was asked about what was going on with him Oscars night. Smith would say, "That was a horrific night, as you can imagine. There's many nuances and complexities to it, but at the end of the day, I lost it. I guess what I would say, you just never know what somebody's going through. I was gone, dude. There was a rage that had been bottled up for a really long time." Now, before we dive into today's conversation, we just want to remind you that Georgia voters in the audience that there's an important runoff election to pick the person to represent Georgia in the U.S. Senate. Early voting already started, so you can vote today or on Election Day on Tuesday, December the 6th. If you need a ride to the polls, call the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda at 877-524-8683. Once again, that's 877-524-8683. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Danielle Miller and Pierre, calling to the show to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
What has the journey been like since that day?
That was a horrific night, as you can imagine. But at the end of the day, I lost it. I guess what I would say, you just never know what somebody's going through.
And again, what you did was up. I'll always tell you that. I love Chris. I'm friends with him. I love you. I'm friends with. But I was like, this is up.
I took my hard and made it hard for other people.
Right.
And it's like I understood the idea where they say hurt people.
Yeah.
Now, as I mentioned, this is definitely one of the first times people have seen Will Smith in a really long time. Of course, people are reacting to it. I mean, as you heard, Trevor Noah, was very upfront to let him know, hey, that was effed up, but I don't feel like you should be ostracized for it. And there's another user who says, "I'm not ready for Will Smith's return and will not support his work at this point. His behavior has consequences." So there's a couple things here. Pierre, I want to start with you. And just get your reaction. What's your reaction in seeing Will Smith since the Oscars in this fashion?
In an interview.
I was happy to see him back. I mean, we as Black people gotta have. I mean, we do, but a lot more need to have some more empathy towards each other, man. The man apologized. He made a mistake. He said it. For all those people saying, "I ain't gonna support him no more. I don't care what he did. I don't care." It acts like you haven't had a bad moment in your life. Sure, it wasn't on Oscars. It wasn't on national television. But doesn't mean your sin is better than his because it wasn't on that situation. So I like the way Trevor handled it, man. He showed, hey, man, you made a mistake, bro, but we got love for you, man. We want to see you back. Will Smith is a human being. He gave us a lot of love, a lot of stuff that we liked beforehand. Do we just wash all that away, all those great moments and stuff that we enjoyed his performances now because of that one incident? It's really between him and Chris Rock. It's not between us anymore. I mean, the man apologized. We should move forward, man. And to see people not wanting to move forward, especially toward a Black person toward another Black person is, I shake my head because we let white folks get away with shit that we watch back. We get back to watching their shit quickly. So, it's just I don't know if it's Willie Lynch or just hating ourselves, man. We just want to hold ourselves to a higher standard than anybody else. And we will punish ourselves and punish us harder than anyone else. And I think it's time to let Will Smith come back out, do his thing. It was what it was, and he apologized.
Definitely. Danielle, let me bring you in to get your reaction. There's a couple things to unpack here, but let's just start with the reaction. When you saw Will Smith in this fashion, being able to interview, talk about that moment a little bit more, what was your initial reaction to it?
First of all, let's give it up for Trevor Noah, because he did a fantastic job interviewing him, and I'll greatly miss Trevor on The Daily Show. He's such a great host. And when I saw Will in this fashion, it warmed my heart because we're finally getting to see him again out there and working, not just trying to apologize for the slap. Again, it was wrong. Let's not sugarcoat it. It was wrong on Will's behalf. But like Pierre said, all of us have our bad days. It may not be on an Oscar stage. I mean, I would love to have a bad moment. No, I won't have a bad moment on an Oscar stage, but we'd all love to go to the Oscars. But he literally had a bad moment, and he's apologized time and time again. And he also took a sabbatical just to, I personally feel, to reflect on that moment. And to unpackage some things. So I was very happy to see him in this light. And I was very happy at the fact that Trevor did not hound down on the Oscar slap, but he was also able to talk about some other projects that he has going on. And we saw Will starting to step out again and be the big Willie that we all know and love.
Absolutely, I love that name, Big Willie. Definitely gonna have to use that one. Now he he also talks about feeling bad for the Oscar slap overshadowing his new film Emancipation. Talking about how great the film is and the filmmakers and just the production crew behind it. And actually, this film was pushed back to 2023. Once everything was going on, and then they did make the decision. Now it will be December of 2022. So let me come back to you, Pierre, and ask, what do you think about that timeline? Do you think they should have waited until that 2023 mark, or do you think they chose, made the right decision to move it back into this year, even though it's the same year as the Oscars? Pierre?
Well, that's a question judged on financial success. If it's not financially successful, then it says the wrong time. If it's financially successful, then it was the right time. So if we don't know if next year would be the right time. If we put it out next year, still people might not like it. People have a Black people have a feeling, they're tired of slave movies, but whatever, just Black people in slavery situations, regardless if it's heroic or not. I myself will support Will Smith and will watch that movie. I've watched other Black movies, so I'll support those too, but I'll support that. Trust me, this ain't the only slave movie gonna come out again in the next year, 2, 3, 4 years. So we can say we're tired of it, but if white folks are going to see it and make some money, it's going to keep being seen. So I'm going for the acting and for the storyline to hear about that gentleman and hear his story. I'm not going to put that whole heap of it's just a slave movie. I cannot watch it no more. I don't like to watch, shooting up movies, killing each other movies. But hey, we keep showing those and we're cool with that, eating popcorn, seeing somebody get their head blown off. Like, no, that was a good movie. Yeah, man, he shot 12 people, one day and shit. Okay, so we pick we pick what we want to pick. So I'm not a slave. So it don't bother me. And my mentality is not slavery, so it doesn't bother me. So I'm not going to sit around and have the white man scaring me like, I can't watch another slave movie because that bothers me. Brother, I'm past that, man. I'm an entrepreneur, bro. So ain't nobody holding me down.
Danielle, let me ask you that same question. This film was originally pushed to 2023 when everything was happening with the Oscars, but now we're back in 2022 and we'll be able to have access next month, actually right around the corner. What are your thoughts? Do you think they should have waited, or do you think they made the right decision to move it back to this year?
I agree with Pierre. I think whatever makes financial sense. And I also think that here's my other view. I think that you can't let that slap deter you away from making your money. I think that it happened back in March. It is now almost the end of the year. And Will has been very empathetic towards the situation. And you can tell that this is a man that is sorry for what he's done. It isn't like he is being arrogant about it. He's genuinely sorry for what he's done. And even in the interview, he unpackaged as to why, that moment happened. We haven't seen him out on the street since, like beating up people and being angry and breaking windows. And I think if the brand of Will Smith wasn't Blockbuster Willie or Will Smith from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or parents just don't understand Will, if he was more so a gangster rapper type of Will, I don't think we would have been as harsh on him in regards to the slap. I don't think so. I think the slap would have probably catapulted his sales, but because we know the brand of Will to be so squeaky clean, I think that's also one of the issues that led him to get to that moment where he felt so frustrated. That's why a lot of persons are dragging it and saying they're not going to support him. But the reality is that he's apologized. He has taken a break. He has taken this time to explain why he did what he did. And you know what? Even in the interview, the reality is we're all human and we all have our moments. I'm sure y'all walk out there and tear off somebody's head before. I'm sure of it. Or I'm sure you thought about it. And again, it just didn't happen on an Oscar stage. So I think that, whatever makes financial sense, and also too, the fact that it's still the same Will that we all know and love, we should rock with it.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. And it really baffles my mind for humans who make mistakes on a daily basis to still look at Will as a different person, as he said in the interview, and as you stated, he is human. And you know, back in, I think when the poll first came out, Yahoo News did a poll. 47% of people put Will Smith in an unfavorable view. Granted, this was before the apologies. However, there are still some people saying like, hey, I won't support him. I won't move forward. So Danielle, I know you kind of gave your views on it, but I'd love to expand on it a little bit more if you can. Do you blame fans for not wanting to support Will Smith, being that there was such a connection to him? Like you said, you know, people knew his brand for one thing, and then they saw this and kind of switched their minds a little bit. Do you blame fans for not wanting to support Will Smith?
I'll say this. I think 30% of them never did like him in the first place. And I think the whole 47% think that they're invincible and that they can't do any wrong. They're probably in church every 7 days out of the week and thinking that they're so holy and point up their nose to people. What he explained in that interview, I always knew all along. From I saw him like walk up and slap Chris, and then you saw his eyes well with water. Again, I'm not excusing him for what he did because it was wrong. When I saw his eyes welled up with water, I said, wow, this is a man that is carrying a heavy load. And I understand and I get it. Will, like he said, like Trevor said, he's been in the spotlight from what? From he was a teenager. He's had that pressure on him from he was a teenager. He's had that pressure on him to deliver, and that's only in his career. We're not talking about in his household. We're not talking about with his parents. And then what he had to endure in his childhood. You know, if you listen to the interview, he keeps making reference to that. So he's carried a lot of stuff in him for a very long time. And don't that sound familiar? That sounds very much like the average Black man in particular that we see every day. They carry these things around because they are afraid to unpack it, because how they might be perceived, because they are looked at as the one that is supposed to be strong all the time. And even if as us as women, we go through it as well. There are many days I'll be honest, you know, I feel like this is a lot. Life gets life. Pressure pressure tall when it comes to life. So what we saw with that Oscar slap was literally Will at a breaking point. And that is why he went missing for a while. Look at his behavior pattern after that slap. He went missing for a while. And even when he speaks about it, there's tears that wells up in his eyes. And one thing that he said was very, very important is when he said that I'm human. And I think us as individuals, when we grow up with so much pressure or trying to exceed or trying to excel, we forget that we're human, and we forget to give ourselves grace and allow ourselves to have time to heal and go through our traumas. So those 47 people who say, oh, I'm not caring for Will, then I think that you have you're stuck up. You're a stoop. Like, yeah. And either that or you weren't working with him in the first place. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's crazy. Pierre, I want to bring you in, but I want to add Smith's response to the lack of support before getting you to comment, Pierre. So Will Smith actually said, I completely understand. If someone is not ready, I would absolutely respect that and allow them their space to not be ready. My deepest concern is my team. Antoine has done what I think is the greatest work of his career. So I'll come to you, Pierre. What do you think? Do you blame, fans for not wanting to support Will Smith after the incident at the Oscars?
First of all, let me shout out to Comedy Hype. I'm sitting in this moment and just watching two beautiful sisters so eloquently speak. I damn near forgot what we were talking about. I'm just listening, and I was transfixed between Danielle and Stephanie. So, okay, you just had to remind me, Will Smith, what a job y'all do. For real, what a job y'all are pleasant to look at, and you're so eloquently speak so well about subject matter. So, all right, my bad. You can cut this out.
Thank you.
You can cut this out if you want to, John. We'll see.
Thank you.
I'm gonna watch this episode and see this cut out and shit.
He gonna keep it. You better keep it.
All right, but let me talk about Will Smith and his situation. What was kind of hurtful is how hard we are as Black people on a Black man. First of all, do you know how hard it is to reach the pinnacle of where he reached, be a $20 million man per movie? There are not many Black men in Hollywood that can get $20 million a movie, maybe 3 to 4, maybe, out of all the other white actors. So first of all, to reach that pinnacle and to let that slap say, you know what, forget everything he's about. It's hard for us to get through that gate sometimes. Many times it's hard for us to get through that gate. And to just say, well, I'm not going to support him anymore. I get it, but what does he have to do? I mean, who are you to feel? I mean, I get it. It's your right to say, I don't support him. I don't do what I want to, when I want to. I get all that. But what about some grace? Like Danielle said, what about the grace to have that man say, you know what, brother, we're going to rock with you. You made a mistake. Let's rock with you. Let's rock with your future. In fact, this movie, let's show that we got love for you and go out and support it. Put your money in it and then walk to another movie. So if you hate, slave movies so bad, but support this brother. Show them that we as people can work collectively together and we love each other and not just say, man, as soon as somebody does something wrong. Because let me tell you something, I believe had he smacked a white man, it'd be a little different now. Well, man, shit happened. It didn't happen. But since it was a black man, like, hold up, we gonna hold you to a fire. Come on, y'all. Show the man some grace and some love, man. He's done a lot for his career up to that point. And you might not have to like him as a person, but respect what he's done. And he's been a exemplary black man in that business. He ain't drug dealing. He ain't beat up women and stuff. He ain't doing all that, been reckless. And now so quickly for one slap, we say, get the hell out of here. For some of y'all, not everybody, come on now. Show some grace and some mercy, man. Just so, to me. And go support the movie. I'm supporting them. In fact, I'm buying 2 tickets and I'm only one person going. 2 tickets.
Can we ask that 47%, how much of them still watch House of Cards?
Watch him out now. Watch him out now.
Can I get my come with the facts? Come.
I love it. I love the energy. And yeah, I'm definitely going to support this film. I think he did a great job explaining exactly what it is. It's not exactly a slavery movie. It's about freedom. And I do want to learn the story, as you mentioned, Pierre, the story of this man, because I do think our history is important. But I want to move forward because there are a couple people who, they do forgive him and kind of are upset that people are upset as well. One user says, Will Smith having to beg for forgiveness, asking for support so that the team he worked with isn't punished for his actions is upsetting. Meanwhile, the same people who condemn him still watch Brad Pitt, Mel Gibson, and every other white Hollywood predator or abuser. Shaking my dang head. So I'll come back to you, Pierre. Looking for this comeback, or as we're seeing, these interviews, he do more and more, and then of course this film, how much do you think race will contribute to Smith's comeback?
Well, I don't care what white folks do. Us as black folks need to support it. I don't give a damn if white people still feel bad about him. It's whatever. But us as black people, I don't like the fact it seems like we find joy in holding people back, our own people back. Like, yeah, I'm gonna show him what time it is, but you don't do that to them white folks. We love to show our own people. We can hold, not everybody, people out there who are fighting for Will, going hanging there for Will, so God bless your people. But the people who sit back and say, I ain't gonna support him, yeah, you're gonna hurt him. And if you're fine with that, your black skin is fine with holding that other black man back. You like, I showed him what it is. Shame on you, man. You didn't do that with the NFL. You didn't do that with Kaepernick. You still watch the NFL games, homie. So you support that, but you can't support the brother. Okay, let me get them tap dance shoes on. Yes, sir, boss. Yes, sir, boss. We're gonna watch what you got, sir, boss.
I definitely think there are a lot of people that would agree with that. Let me come to you, Danielle, and I can kind of expand on that a little bit. So as this comment mentions, there are other white actors that still receive support after they have incidents, if you will. But, with Will Smith, it seems to be a harder comeback. People are still holding, as both of you have mentioned, his feet to the fire. So how much do you think race will contribute to his comeback? If Will Smith was a white man, do you think it would be different? What exactly do you think that role looks like?
Absolutely. If he were of a different color, it would be different. What we've been saying this on the show for over the last month. Other ethnic groups understand this economic wealth system and how powerful that is. The minute we in our community, we do something or say something, we want to cancel. And what we don't understand is that hurts us, because the less and less we see people on top that look like us, the more and more that slavery mindset begins to play back in our head, where there is a cap on our people. The less and less we get funding for organizations that help our people, because a lot of persons, the government does not give, and this is not just like in the US, this is also here and where I live as well. The government's money only goes so far when it comes to certain programs. It is up to us to continue to help push those programs. And how do you do that? You do that with money. Somebody like Will Smith has millions and millions of dollars. And like I referred to, Big Willie Summers, blockbuster hits. like Pierre said, it is difficult for a man of his color to get there. So now what we're doing with this Oscar slap is we are not only taking from Will, but we're taking from ourselves. Because let's think about the charities and foundations that he has given to. Let's think about how he has helped his people. Let's talk about, for instance, with Peacock, with him having those actors on that show, an all Black cast. You see how that can trickle down and affect more than just Will? It affects the system that we are trying to build in terms of our community of economic wealth when we don't extend grace to each other and we want to cancel so quickly. Will is not a repeat offender. It was one time in his what? Will is almost 50. I don't think I've ever heard about Will in an altercation. He actually said he used to run from altercations in his book. So he's not a repeat offender. If he was of a different color, we would be more gracious to him because we don't understand that's how we're trained. Black bad, white good. So that's all I'm going to say on that.
No, I love it. And thank you so much. Thank you both so much for laying up the facts. I think, as you said, and as a saying here, come with the facts. So I love both of you being able to add those pieces to that. Now, before we head out, of course, I'd like to know what you have coming up and how people can follow you. So, Mr. Pierre, I see the Comedy Hype jacket on. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
You can follow me at Comic Pierre. I want to thank everybody who supported my half-hour special, who's still watching it, Half Truths, over there at Comedy Hype TV, Hot Comedy on HypePlusTV.com. You get that right. See right there, boom, came right across, bam, right there. I want to thank y'all. As I told y'all, I'm a clever comedian. For those who love me on here, I thank you so much. For those who don't, I'm still a clever comedian. I'm still dope as hell. It doesn't matter what. Check it out. So I got that. I think I'm going overseas. Also, I'm in LA right now. I'm in my normal place. You don't see the orange background. I'm doing some more episodes of the Panic Room. Here's Panic Room. I got some dope guests. A lot of people slid through to show me some love. So I'm interviewing about 4 people tomorrow and the day after. But again, just check me out. December 11th, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, the City Winery. I'll be performing headlining the show there December 11th. And again, thanks for supporting the Half Truths. I told you, I'm funny and I'm clever.
Absolutely. And of course, how can people follow you, Pierre?
At Comic Pierre, COMIC PIERRE. And if you can't spell Pierre, follow me at Comedy Capone. Or Comedian Capone, whatever.
I love it. I love it. Danielle, we see you are back at the zoo, I think.
Yeah, the white people zoo, yeah. The white folk. They see the white folks back there behind you.
How's it going over there in the Bahamas? Of course, what do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Any Karens back there? I'm looking for Karens.
So what I have coming up is another spot to shoot at.
No, I like that. I like that.
But I have a lot of things coming in 2023. Of course, there's my show called Sis that we are about to get back into the swing of things. So I'm very excited about that. And then there's Comedy Hype every Tuesday. I am here. And we have on my social media pages, I'm showing everybody around the island every Tuesday of the resort, of things you can do, things that you are fun, that when you come to the Bahamas, please come to the Bahamas and not just on a cruise ship, just stay over and sleep with us maybe for 2 days or so. But did you feel that just now, Pierre?
Yeah. Ow.
Okay. Stay over with us and you can follow me to see the scenes around the town at DEEA Miller on Instagram.
Well, I'll definitely have to make a trip outside of a cruise ship to actually stay over. No, but again, I appreciate both of you for bringing information and laughter. This conversation seriously is one that needs to be had. We send all our love and support to Will Smith and to Chris. I think it's a lot on both ends, but I'm glad to see, Will starting to come out and start to open up just a little bit. So we definitely send our support and love, and I look forward to the film. So again, I appreciate you both for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Trevor Noah's conversation with Will Smith? And again, and again, and again, early voting has started. So you can vote today or on Election Day, Tuesday, December the 6th. If you need a ride to the polls, call Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda at 877-524-8683. Once again, that's 877-524-8683. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Tell me Comedy Hype ain't got the flyest sisters. Come on now. Damn the comments. Tell me they ain't got the flyest sisters. Woo!
Big fan of the Comedy Hype News Show? Well, now you can join us live in studio for lunch at Comedy Hype. Click the link down below in our description or go to our Instagram page and click the link in our bio for your chance to RSVP. I hope to see you here for Comedy Hype News. I'm Symphony Thompson.
Crazy how some people misjudge me. Think they know who I am more than I know who I am. Most of my life, when people see me, they always think, is he one of us or one of them? What does that mean, one of us or one of them? Am I us or am I them? Even though I've proven who I am many times to people, I guess I gotta do it again. Oh, I'm gonna do it again. Trust me. And I'm here to deliver the truth. And one thing about the truth, they can't deny it if it's yours.